Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today we're going to this Taanit daf Chav Gimel. We are going to begin about 10 lines from the top by the two dots on Chav Gimel Mad Aleph. So we have the two famous stories of Choni Hamagel on this Amud. Tanarbanim. Pamachas Yatzirov Adar V'Lo Yardu Geshamim. The majority of Adar came, no rain. Sholchul Choni Hamagel Hispalel V'Yardu Geshamim. So they asked him to daven. However, his Babel Yardu Geshamim didn't rain. So Uga, as we know, he drew a circle, V'Amad B'Tochah, and he stood inside of it. Kederach She'asa Chavakuk Hanavi. This was actually not the first time this was done. In the times of Chavakuk, he also did the same thing. Shnemar Al Mishmarti Moda. As I protect and I'll stand, V'Etziatzva Al Matzor V'Gaimer. Armofon Rabbanishal. Banecha Sama Panehim Olai. Shanika ben Bayis Lefanecha. Everyone's relying on me so that I should daven to you, that there should be rain. Nishmani Mishmecha Gadol Sheini Zozmim Mikan Ad Shetarachim Al Banecha. I will not leave the circle until you have compassion on your children. Kizchil Geshamim Minatfin. So immediately it started raining a little bit. Armul Talmid of Rabbi Rinucha, I saw you v'lo nomus. The whole reason why it rained is because Hashem just doesn't want you having to stay your whole life in this circle. So you're just going to let it rain just so you can get out. This is not what I asked Hashem. It has to be enough rain to be able to fill up these cisterns and holes and caves. So Yod B'Zaf, all of a sudden it started pouring, a massive downpour. That each drop was like a barrel full of water. That each drop was like a lug. It looks like the whole reason why this is happening now is going to destroy the world. It's going to be another flood. I didn't ask for this type of rain either. El Gishmi Ratzon Bracha Nadava. Proper rain. A normal rain. So Yardu Ketikonan, it rained normally. And Sha'ol Kol Al Harbayas, everyone went up to Harbayas, because there was so much rain, so they went and took higher ground. Amrlo Rebbe Kashem Shehispal Ta Shiardum Kachaspal V'Yelchu. So just like you daven that we should get rain, so now I'm asking you that you should daven the rain should stop. Amr lehem kach mekublani shein mispal na revatayvo. Which is on yesterday's daf that you cannot daven for removing too much good. Avol pikein haviu li par hoido. Bring me this cow. Haviu li par hoido. Samach shte yadav Allah. So he did smich on it. The Klai Yisrael that you took out of Egypt, they don't want too much good, too much bad. For you to get angry upon them, you can't. And to pour too much good on them, you also shouldn't do. So let the rain stop and let everything be fine. The winds started blowing. The clouds dispersed. And the sun shone. The all of went to their fields. And all of a sudden they had all these truffles and mushrooms that had already grown. And this is also Gemara Brachos, the third parak, Yud Testament Aleph. This is perhaps one of the times that he would have put in the Chayrim. Because Rani Alecha Nidoi Sheilu Shanim Kishnei Eliyahu Shemaftachot Geshamim Biyada Shel Eliyahu, that in the time of Eliyahu when the keys of rain were in his hands, Nimsa Shem Shemayim Mischalel. The name of Hashem was not disgraced, says Rashi. If it was the years or like the years of Eliyahu, during the time in which there was also a decree in the time of Achav and Izevel that there was no rain, Mispal al yadcha. Avo ma'aselacha. Shiata mischat lefnei hamakom v'yaiselacha ritzaincha. Keben shemischate alaviv. You're just like a child that even sins against his father. Because what does the father? He still loves his child. Because Hashem loves you so much. Abba, take me or chetzeni and bathe me b'cham in hot water. Shatfeni b'tzainin and rinse me off in cold. Tainli egoizim shkedim afrosaikin v'remoinim. Give me all these nuts and fruits and pomegranates. The nice line, he gives it to him. So again, this shows the greatness of Choni Hamagel, that Hashem listened to whatever he wanted. Tanrabanan, Ma shalchu b'nei lishkas hagazas l'choni Hamagel. What did the lishkas hagazas, which is the Sanhedrin, what did they send to him? So l'choni Hamagel, v'tigzar oimer v'yakom loch v'al dorachecha naga, and on your ways you will shine light, naga or. V'tigzar oimer ata. So what does that mean? V'tigzar oimer ata gazarta milamata. You made a gazar from the below. V'akadosh baruch hu mekayim ma'amercha milmal, and Hashem fulfills your words above. V'al dorachecha naga or. What does that mean? That in your ways will shine light. Dor shahaya afel, a generation which had darkness. He arta, you brought light. B'tfilascha, with your prayers. Ki hish pilu b'timer giva dor. So what is this? The downward people. Dor shahaya shafel, the generation that was downtrodden. Higviatai b'tfilascha, you elevate them with prayer. V'sach einayim, those who have lowly eyes. Yoshia, you have be saved. Dor sheshach ba'avoino hoshalt b'tfilascha. Again, you save them with your prayers. Yamalate, they should be saved. Naki, not clean. Dorshul hoya naki milatai b'tfilascha. So a generation again that was not clean, you were able to elevate them with your prayers. V'nimlat bebor kapecha milatai b'masyodecha haberurim, with your clear actions. Rabbi Yochanan, Kol Yamav Shel Oisat Tzadik, Hayim Etztar El Mikrazeh. Choni Hamagel is always bothered by this pasuk, Shir Hamalis B'Shuv Hashem Eshiv Asiyon Hayinu Kecholmim, that it was that the 70 years in exile will be like a dream. So Rami Ika Dinoyim Shivim Shnin, who could sleep for 70 years? B'Chelma. Yomi Echad, one day, Havi Ozabu Orchi was traveling. Chazahu Gavid Havi Nata Charuva. He was planting a carob tree. Armalei, hi, Ad Kama Shnin Toin. How long does it take for this tree to grow? Armalei, Ad Shivim Shnin. It takes 70 years. Armalei, Pshitalach Dechayis Shivim Shnin. Is it so simple it's going to last that long? Armalei, Hi Gavra Alma Bechurba Ashkachate. I found a tree which had carobs on it. Kehechi the tali li of hatay shatli nami levroi. So just like my ancestors planted this tree so I could benefit from it, so too I will plant so my children will benefit from it. Yosef kakarach, that he was eating. Asale shinta nim, he started falling asleep. Hadule mishnuse, and he was taken up with his sleep so much. His eyes were covered. Benim shivim shnin. He ended up sleeping 70 years. Kikam, when he got up, Chazil garbed havikam malakid minahu. He was gathering up these carobs. Armulei athu dishtalte. Are you the one that planted this tree? Armulei barbareana. I'm actually the grandson. Armulei shmamina denaimi shivim shnin. I must have slept for 70 years. Chazil chamre dis yelidale ramche ramche. Let's see if there's a Rashi on this. Let's go over here. So v'chasmein the inshi ramche ramche. Rashi says vlade vladais, children of children. Be'elu hashanim, in those years, the noyim umuberes zachar, gave birth to a boy, and then they had another child. Okay. So Amalei Barbare Anas. Amalei Shmamina Danem Shimishin. Chazal Chamri saw a donkey Disyalidale Ramche. Azal base, he went to his house. Amalahu Bere the Chayni the Hamagal Mikayim is the child of Chayni Magal alive. Amalei Bere Lace, he doesn't have a son, Barbare Isa, he's a grandchild. Amalahu Anachani Magal. Lo him nuhu. They didn't believe him. So Azal base a medrash. Shaminhu Rabbana de Ka'amri Nihirin Shmaitzin Kivishnei Choni Amagal. The sugi is so clear to us, just like in the days of Choni Amagal. Havi Ayel base midrasha Kol Kushid Havi Lulu Rabbanan Havi Mafarakahu. Any question was always answered because of his greatness. Samahu Ananihu. That's me. I'm back. So on this, Elohim knew they didn't believe him. They didn't give him the proper honor. This is very difficult to understand, but just translating the words, he felt bad and he ended up dying. We say that whether a person should either have companionship or death. To be alone is not an option. Being alone is the worst. Abba Chilkiah, Barbare de Chonyamagal. So we said that apparently it was Abba Chilkiah who did not recognize Chonyamagal, who was the grandchild. Havi v'chi matzrach alma lemitra havi mishadu rabbanu l'gabe. Just like his grandfather, he used to also daven for rain. Boy rachmi v'asa mitra. They would daven and rain would come. Zim l'chadid tzarach alma lemitra. So shadu rabbanan zugad rabbanu l'gabe li boy rachame. The nese mitra. They wanted it to rain, so they vent to him. So Ozl Beise, V'lo Yashkahu, they didn't find him at home. So Ozl B'dabra, so they went to, Rashi says, the Oider B'sada, he was like plowing the field. Yashkahu Dahavika Rofik, he was actually hoeing. So Yoivli Shalma. So of course, you see such a great person like Abba Chilkiah, so you give greeting to him. You say Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Yomi, as we continue Chav Gimel and Beis. Interestingly enough, but he didn't say a word. He didn't turn his face toward them. He didn't he didn't respond to them. Bipanya, toward evening, kihavi menake sibe dara sibe umara bechad kafta. So when he was taking leave, he took his various gardening tools on one shoulder, uglima b'chad kasva, and he put his cloak on the other one. You would think maybe it would make more sense to, because it's so heavy, that you should put the tools over the cloak so it doesn't hurt your shoulder. Kul orcha l'osai misane. The whole travel, he didn't wear shoes. Kimatul mai, when he got to a big, huge puddle, sai misane, and then he put on his shoes. Kimatul lihizmi v'higi, when he got into thorns and thistles, Dylan who limane, he lifted up his garment and he got all scratched up. Kimata lamas, so he got to a city, nafka lebesu, la'ape kim mikashta. His wife came out and she was all adorned, wearing beautiful jewelry, and she looked very, very pretty. Kimata lebese, when they got to the house, was interesting the order. Alas the beast who beresha. He had his wife go first. V'hadar ayil ihu, then he followed his wife. V'hadar ayil rabbanan, and only afterwards he let the rabbanan in. Yosef v'karach rif, they're eating bread. V'lo yarmulhu rabbanan tu kuruchu. He didn't say, hey, why don't you eat? He just had them sit there and watch them eat. Plag rivta li'nuke, he was giving out food to his kids. L'kashisha, to his older one, chada, he gave one portion. L'zutru, the smaller kid, who apparently doesn't need as much food, Trey gave double the amount. Armalei l'debeso, he said to his wife, probably whispering to her, Yadana Rabban Misha Mitra Kasu. They're coming because they want me to down for rain. So Nisak Ira, let's go to the top of the roof. Maybe it'll rain. And it'll just rain, and we can basically say it had nothing to do with us. Sakal Igra. So they went to the roof. Kom ihu b'chada zavisa, v'ihu b'chada zavisa. So they went on different corners, like we find our avos. They used to daven on both sides. They are for example, by Rivka and Yitzchak. Kadim solik anani mahach zavisa debesu. All of a sudden, a huge rain cloud started forming by his wife's corner, which apparently means that his wife's tefillos were answered first. Kinachas, when they went down, Amruhu, Amayasu Rabban, what are you doing here? So Amrule, Shadul and Rabban Lagabi Damar, Liboy Rachmi Amitra. We were sent to ask you to daven for rain. So Amruhu said, Baruch HaMakom Shul Hitzrach Eschem, you don't need me, La'al Abba Chilkia, because it's raining anyway. So Amrule, they said, come on. We know the reason why it's only raining is because of you. There's a lot of things which were a little puzzling to us in the way that you behaved. My time, first of all, what's the reason? When we said hello, you totally ignored us. I get paid by the day. If Pagar. So basically, my concern is, as Rashi says, I'm not allowed to stop my work because otherwise it's like stealing. Why didn't you put the tools on the same shoulder which had your garment? It was a borrowed talus, actually. It was borrowed to wear, but not for tools to go on top of. My time why did you only put on shoes once you got into the puddle? Because I can see where I'm walking, and therefore I don't need shoes. However, in that puddle, I don't know what's there. It could be glass, who knows? And therefore I put on my shoes for that. So my time Mar lehizmi vihigi delinhu lamane. Why did you lift up your clothes when you scratched yourself? He's a poor person, so his clothes get ripped. That's it. His skin gets a little bit scratched. It'll heal. So my time Mikashta. So why did your wife get dressed up so beautifully? She bedavka makes sure that she looks extremely beautiful whenever she sees me, so that this way I only have eyes for her. My time Anan. It was strange the order. Why first her, then you, then us? But kisuli. I didn't know you, and I wasn't baidik you, so I'm not going to leave my wife alone by me going in the house first. So my time kikarch mar rifta loy amrlan esu kruchu. Why didn't you offer us to eat? Mishum delon nefisha rifta. The reality is we don't have a lot of food. The amina lo achsagu v'rabanan tivusa bechinam. I know that you're going to end up saying no, thank you, but by doing that, I would end up basically being praised for nothing, because I knew that is how you were going to respond. So my tami yoiv mar v'yanuk kashisha chada rifta lazutri tray. Why'd you give your little kid 2 breads? Amalahu haikoi bevesa. This child is in the house, so therefore food is readily accessible to him. Habahai yosef bebe kanista. This other child is in the shul, therefore he doesn't have as much food when he's there, so I have to feed him more. Alternatively, I reward my child who learns more. When my time ekadim sol kanani mahach zavisa dehavis kaima debesa damar la another day. How come the clouds ended up forming by your wife? It's you. Everyone goes to you to daven for rain. So how come your wife was answered? So there's actually 3 answers. And this is question 12 as well as TA 11 that asks, Madua zachsa eshes abba chilkia. Why was she zoicha? So one answer is Mishum the isis shchicha bebesa, because she's often found in the house. V'yoiv rifta laniye, and she gives bread to the poor person who knocks on their door. Umikarva hanasayu, and therefore the hana is much closer. Yana yavina zuza. However, I give money. V'lo mikarva hanyasa, and the hana is not as great. Inami hanhu biryoini. There are these people that caused a lot of problems. Dahavi bishvusan. This is very similar to the Gemara with Rav Meir and Daf Yud and Brachos. Anaboy rachmi delemus. I daven that they should die. However, v'hi boy rachmi dilahadru b'tiyuvta v'hadru, so that they should go back and do tshuva. And because that she had that compassion, that's the reason why I was answered. And it's interesting that it says it in this question TA11. In question T11, where's this test? It actually says it with 3 answers. It has a 3 by it. This is how he breaks it down, as it's 3. First of all, because she's found in the house. Umekar b'hanyasa, umishim Yoini. It's not so clear why that's 3 answers, but that's what it says on TA, the test that was in 2013. It says 3, but it's pretty clear that it sounds like there's only 2 answers. Anyway, so that's the end of that very famous story of Choni Magal, the 2 stories. And then we have the story of Choni Magal, and then again of Abba Chilkiah. Now Chanan HaNechba is another famous person. It was Barte de Choni Magal. He was also a grandchild of Choni Magal. The Haviki Matzrich Almul Mitra, similar to Abba Chilkiah, that when people wanted rain, Havi Mishadru Rabbanan, Yenuki Debe Rav Ligabe. They would send kids to him. Benatile Bishipule Gleaming. They would pull on his garment. Yirmale Abba Havlan Mitra. Dad, give us rain. Sarmalif Nekodesh Baruch Hu B'Anishom. Asi Bishvil Elu. Answer in the sake of these little children. Shein Makirin being Abba Diyov Mitra, Abba Doyov Mitra. He doesn't know the difference between one father, me, and Avinu Shemat Shemayim is the one that provides water. So my Karle Chanan HaNechba, why was he called the hidden one? So because he used to hide himself in the bathroom. So let's look at this top Rashi, top left, which is TB13. There's actually 2 girses over here. Ki havi boy rachme amaya, the Paship shot is that whenever he would ask for rain, he used to hide himself, so that it wasn't clear that it was his tfilos, because he was very humble. So he hid himself when he even went to the bathroom, which means he was very modest. Okay. Armalu Rabbi Zreiko Rav Safra. Tochazi Mar, Tochazi, come and see, Mabin Tekife Da'ar Yisrael, between the mighty ones of Eretz Yisrael, the Chassidah Bavel. Chassidah Bavel, Rav Huna Rav Chisda. Ki havi matzrich alma lamitra, and they needed rain. Amre, they would say, Nichanif hadadi, let's gather up together. B'nei boy rachame. Efshid miratze kodesh baruch hu di mitra. Maybe it will rain. Hashem will accept our rain. The kifi the hour of the Israel could go to Rabbi Yoina Avua, the Rabbi, their money, ki havi matzrich alma lamitra. When they needed rain, havi oil base, they would go to their home. Remahu habali givalki. Give me some sackcloth. The Azel the Isili Bezuza Ibura. So let's look in Rashi. Ta l'chanef adadi alma mishum chad minayhu asimitra. So according for them, they needed each other for the rain to come. However, that the Kif Eretz Yisrael, the kachazinan the chavte asimitra, that when they would basically hide themselves, that's when it would rain. So Rashi says, what is the Aisi Bezuza Ibura? Dagon, the grain, Mishum Kafna, because of the famine, Shafil Ibn Besul Hayamoidia. No one knew about it. It was a complete secret. Kihabi Nafik Lebro, they would go outside, Ozavikoi Beduchta, a Mikta, they would go and sit in this particular location, the Chsiv, this lower place. The Chsiv, Mamakim Krasich Hashem. They would be in a modest place. They cover themselves with sackcloth. That's how rain would come. They say, did you get the grain? I said, since it's raining, hashda revach alma, so therefore it's going to be more plentiful. The Su Rebani parade havika Mitzarile de Ben Nasiya. The Ben Nasiya was painting him. Ishtatach al kivra de avua. So he prostrated himself on the gravesite of his father. Amalei Abba Abba Hani Mitzarli, they're causing me so much pain. Yom Chad Havika Chalfi Hasam. One time he was passing over there by the kever, and Inkoit Kara de Sus Vasyahu, and he got stuck. His ankle got stuck in this area. Until he was finally accepted upon himself not to be mitzar anymore. The Surah Mani Havi Shchiach Rabbi Yitzchak ben El Yoshev, he was constantly there. Amarle Atiri Debei Chami, the wealthy ones come mitzarli, they're causing me much pain. Amar, he said, Li'anu, get poor, via inu, and basically they'll be afflicted. Says Rashi, Atiru Ashirim Shel Beis Chami, Li'anu, Yuanim, they'll be poor. Amar Kadachakuli, now they're bothering me. So Amar Li'atru, so let them become rich. The Atiru then became rich. Amar Lo Mekablinu Lai Inshibesi, the people in my house are not being makabel me. So Amalei Mashma, what's her name? Chana, tis Yafi Chana v'tis al Yavas. So he said, let it be that she should become beautiful, and she indeed became beautiful. Dochli. So again, because of her beauty, so therefore all of a sudden she was bothering. Says Rashi, Ein ishti mikubelas alai she'enu yafa. So he made her beautiful. Dochli Amar li'atru v'atru. To become wealthy, they became wealthy. Amalei mekablino lai inshi beisi. Amalei mashma chana. Okay, I did that already. Tiyaft chana v'niyaft. Amalei ka migandara. So Rashi says, miskadelas alai. Now since she's so beautiful, she's greater than I am because of her great beauty. So Amalei ihachi taxer chana was shach rurise. Let her go back to her original state of not being beautiful. V'chazr chana was shach rurisa. So it's interesting. You should be careful what you ask for. You want your wife to be beautiful, and then all of a sudden she ends up getting a little bit full of herself. She ends up otherwise not being so beautiful. Maybe that's better. Okay. Hanhu Trey Talmidi, those two students that Havi committed Rabbi Yitzchak ben El Yoshev, Amalei Niboy Marachmi Alon, please have mercy upon us. Dinichim Tuva, that we should become smart. So Yimi Hoisa Ushlachtiha. Says Rashi, Davar Zeh Haya Biyadi, this is in my hands. Shekoma Shani Mivakish Hayanoisnama. Anything that was Mivakish, nicely is given to me. Yashav ein tefilasi mekubelas kolkach. However, my tefillas are not as accepted anymore. Adkan.